Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Teddy.
We can't stop snapping. Ooh, it feels so good to be saying that again, Brad. The hiatus went on, I think, longer than either of us was expecting here. It's been 9 months
Yeah, for
since
sure.
our regular episodes. We squeezed in one little we're so back 2 months out, and then we were not back. But now we are back. Man, how you been?
Been good. A lot of changes. As you can see, everything behind me looks different. Yeah, just kind of had a thing with the game not being what I wanted. So, I wrote an article years ago. That was actually when I was playing Magic. That was called it was mental burnout, um, and uh, and card games specifically. And it was kind of talking about like hobbies and things like that, and like how it's okay to get burned out on things. And I
Yeah.
remember I took like a 2 month break from Magic because I was horrendously burned out. And this is when I was doing a podcast for that called The Pioneer Perspective. I was actively grinding every day in like MTGO lobbies and stuff like that. So like repping for like RCQs and all that stuff. And it made me like hit a point of like despising the game for a
Yeah.
brief period. And I wrote a whole article about it. I'm like, sometimes you need to step away from the thing that you love to kind of like the what's the saying, um uh fondness makes the or no what is it? Distance makes the heart grow fonder,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Get some
That whole
time
idea,
distance from it.
right? And I'll get into why, or my big reasons for wanting to stop playing Snap for the time being. But for now, I am back. I'm enjoying the game again, and yeah, I'm happy to be back doing this.
Well, welcome back. I never left Snap. I kept up with my weekly streams covering all of the new cards. So I have played everything. I still own everything. I've stayed fairly competitive every season, but a lot of like real life changes for me were going on. I now
Yep.
manage one of the shoe store locations, that's part of a chain that I've been working for, and I've got a little baby daughter at home. So life's kind of turned upside down, but it's actually Snap has been something that's been a consistent through line for me and has been really fun as like an outlet. And I love coming back to doing the podcast because getting to bounce ideas out there, talk about Snap news, still get people in chat talking about when we're going to bring the podcast back or if I'm going to do another one. So here we are. We're back. And I'm really looking
Yeah.
forward to this episode because we actually have some like earth shattering Snap news to be able to cover. Brand new way to be able to get cards. Their third take at the in-game economy overhaul.
Yeah. You know what's really funny about it? It's their third take, but it's going back to the first take, kind of, or their first like
Yeah,
attempt.
it's a kind
Like
of it's kind of closer to the Nexus events that for those of you probably who don't know, in the beta they had a horrible gambly loot box system way that you were going to get bonus cards every
yeah,
season, and just the implementation or at least the initial monetization that was there in the beta was terrible because they had
yeah.
these packs that were extremely diluted with like variants and other rewards outside of the new card, and you had to like rack up enormous amounts of purchases to hit the pity rule of guaranteeing the card. But then you could also just get a variant of another card you already had, and it was like
Yeah, that's never good. And that's also why you see there's a title in the game that says I survived Nexus events. And I'm hoping we get I survived the Spotlight cash system or something like I survived Spotlights or something like that. Because Spotlights are going away completely.
yep. Now, do we
Yeah.
want to jump into what they're proposing is going to be the change and how we think it might really be envisioned, or do we want to talk any of the Snap interim? We went through, I mean, fully 6 seasons here, where you
Yeah.
weren't playing the game. Do you need a Snap history lesson, a little catch up on what was going on?
uh, so I kept up a little bit with like OTAs and stuff like that. I still
Okay.
saw like the news and everything and like what was changing. Um, and I still logged in almost daily, only because I had a monetary investment in the gold pass.
Oh, gotcha.
It was literally for like 100 and something days. Because I was
Wow.
like, because I found out you could stack them,
You just
and
stacked them.
I stacked a bunch in a row because I'm like, I'm tired of remembering to, or needing to remember to like to re up it every time. So
Past
yeah,
Brad is like,
definitely.
I'm never quitting Snap, so why not?
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
why would I ever do that?
I'm just like, oh, gold, claim gold,
Yeah.
close app. It's
Okay.
what I would do
Okay.
every day.
Yep.
But that being said, I would still keep up with like OTAs, or at least kind of like keep like a vague, foot halfway in the door kind of thing, just to have my ear to the ground, so to speak. So I'm familiar with all the cards that have come out. The only thing I'm not really familiar with is if there were any like quote unquote big bad decks in the meta that like overstayed their welcome, like a la Shuri in its heyday. Not necessarily like Zabu or Surfer, of course; those were completely different, right? But
Right.
was there anything while I was gone that was like, yeah, they took way too long to nerf it, or it kind of over? I know they just hit Galacta a little bit,
I was gonna
um,
say
but that
it
was
was.
like like this week.
Yep. Yeah. Just recently. So like over this run, I think Arishem has been one of the consistent offenders as being like a very common top deck, and people got a little bit frustrated with it. But Arishem kind of had the Loki, he has the Loki mechanic of like every game is still like a lot of variety with Arishem. So I don't think he necessarily overstayed his welcome. It's been like discard and like as a general archetype, and then Galacta as an individual card because she was just better than all the other forecasts for a long time. And even
Yeah.
this, hey, take 1 point away, she's still just better than a lot of forecasts at her rate. They've nerfed Doom 99 multiple times here.
I did see that, and okay, I need your opinion on this because
Yep.
like when I first saw Doom 99 come out, I was like, oh, that's a really cool card. It's really interesting.
Oh yeah.
And I saw a lot of people were like doing well with the like I see people post on Twitter that kind of thing, like, oh, Doom 29 is really good. Some people were saying it was busted. I couldn't really get the sense that it was busted from an outside perspective, having not played with it and
Right.
seeing it get nerfed like 3 times. I feel like I have to ask why. Like it
Yeah.
felt misplaced from an outside perspective.
The card himself never felt busted, but it was the fact that he could go into any deck that was going to play on a curve and then
Mhm.
provide more in the forecast slot than anybody else. So you were going to see like continuing on way more of him than other card variety. Like it wasn't really a consideration. Like if I had a deck that was going to play straight on curve, I would play 99, just as the filler
Right.
of that mid range card as best in slot every time, like that in Galacta. So I think they
Gotcha.
kind of cut it off at the pass of making the forecasts very monotone of just those two by nerfing them, even though they've been in a variety of decks. And I think Doom 99, like his fantasy of just taking over games on his own is like so hard to achieve that it
Mhm.
doesn't really work, but just the utility that he potentially brings in a lot of other lists was too high.
Yeah, the few times I've played against him now in his current form, I've just been like, ah, I'm not threatened by him hardly.
Right. Now, I wonder if that will change with a future release, but we might have to save that for another podcast. I think right now, like the problem deck is discard. We got Khonshu coming in hot. We have Bullseye, who's still super strong. And I think we had our Snap Judgment friends heralding the Bullseye deck as like the new Hela. They can sit back and then generate all their points on the final turn, and it's really hard to interact with them. And then if they hit their combo, they can outplay almost any other deck.
Mhm.
I think that deck, like the Bullseye list, is a little bit more chance for an opponent to interact with them and mess them up than what Hela had. So hopefully it's in a healthier spot than that. But it is super frustrating to see Dak and Bullseye hit the Frigga, duplicate, and now I'm going to die.
So that's a deck I haven't gone up against like hardly at all, if I'm being honest. Funnily
What?
enough.
Ooh,
Now
you've been
keep in
spared.
mind, keep in mind, I am down to the 60s at the moment. because
Yep.
when you don't play ranked for months, I came back into the game in the tens.
Yeah. It resets you and
So
then back and back and
I've
back.
I have I have been climbing the season from literally hell. It's
Yeah.
just the very bottom. Like, oh my god, I could
People
not. Could
playing.
you imagine if you got reset all the way down to the bottom after infinite every single season?
That'd be so
I don't
long
think
coming back.
I don't think I'd hit infinite every season if that's the case. I'm probably not gonna hit it this season. I'm just like, I mean, to be fair, other events have kind of like taken my interest away from ladder
Yeah.
because of the fact that you get a free card kind of thing with like
Right.
the Ghost Rider in the previous season it was or the beginning of the season it was Sanctum Sanctorum, that kind of thing. So like, yeah.
Yeah, the
Uh
Sanctum Showdown was amazing. Finally, a
Very
great
good.
game mode. Like a truly a
It's
different
what
game mode, a different way to play Snap.
Yeah, it's what got me back in the first place, technically, because you can get 3 cards of random 4 or 5 variety, and the 3 new cards being Uncle Ben, Laphus, and Gorgon. Um,
Interesting. So you were actually more enticed by the rewards than by like the game mode rules.
Correct.
Interesting.
I actually think because the game was really interesting.
Yeah.
I would like to see Guardians banned next time. Not
Yeah.
because they're too good, but because it's just every deck was running Guardians because inherently it makes sense. Now you can beat the Guardians, and when I was playing my decks, I just refused to play Guardians because I was bored of it. So I was playing other things, and the way you beat it is just don't play into the early stuff. Like just let them throw down their rocket for 1, let them throw down their Starwood for 2 on those early locations. They're gonna win them anyway because they're gonna outpower you in most cases if you give them the hit anyway. So set up elsewhere. Start building your other spots away from where the current location is, and then now they have a 1/1 chilling in a spot
Right.
that you can
Yeah, it's a
attack
dead
later.
card.
And yeah. So I would they would constantly for the first few turns get up to like 12 or 13, and I'd be at 1, and then I just steamroll them in the last few turns. Is
Yeah.
how every game ended up going.
Yeah, so with Sanctum with the custom ban list that they showed they were ready to update super quick, I think I'd love to see like a completely different ban list this time. I think Scream was punished for the crimes of all the cards around her, and actually would have been amazing to have in the mode because Move was running over people, and then Captain America or Falcap was running over people, and it's like, well, there's a counter card, it just got banned. So can we kind of
Right.
stop some of this oppression? But yeah, like the
I-
Guardians, I was going back and forth on if I want to see them again. On the plus side, they're very interactable, right? Like you found a way to be able to beat their strategy, which I think is really cool and how it lends to like that game's unique rules. It's also the only spot in Snap where you're going to be able to see the Guardians getting played. So I can understand why
Right.
they let them run the whole time. And it could be that, hey, like give us a week of Guardians and then a week of no Guardians. And yeah,
Mhm.
let there be more churn because otherwise it's like, hey, there's 30 cards that everybody is building decks with, and that's less interesting, especially if you let it sit for a full event, right?
Yeah, that's the one thing. Like you want the new mode to breed creativity, and if there's just one thing that seems to be better than everything else, or at least because I don't think the Guardians are necessarily better than everything else, but I do think that they just were the most simplistic and straightforward for the average person to be like, yeah, that makes sense. I want to fight for this location and guarantee hits to get big number kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that there were some of them that were, and especially in conjunction with Werewolf, like that
Hmm.
was what was better than everything else because they were going to be a good stat rate and an on reveal that would pull Werewolf, and you could just
Yeah.
daisy hop through. And then even if you didn't score your Guardian, you built your Werewolf. So if you hit someone like you building like a fortress point at one location, you can still pull this huge Werewolf over and potentially compete even if you haven't scored your Guardians earlier. Um, it was a great game mode. I loved it so
I
much.
agree.
I would be open to having it run next to Conquest. Like you get Conquest half the season and Sanctum Showdown half the season. Because they both have really fleshed out stores that you can use the currency
Yeah.
in. I don't think we need Conquest all season. You have to have Conquest as a friendly match option. But then
Yeah.
if you ran the Sanctum the rest of the time, because that was the other amazing thing, is they let you grind infinitely for cosmetics. And I ate that up. I bought so many borders and whatnot for my cards. Like, that element of it felt incredible.
See, I did not get a single cosmetic because I spent the entire time grinding for the 3 cards,
Right.
the new ones, and then the 3 uses of a random series 4 or 5 card to help me catch
Yeah.
up.
So that side as well. It's like a catch up mechanic. It was really, I think overall the event, the rules was good. The ban list being ready to be implemented was great, and then the
Mhm.
shop and what they were offering to get people in. So you had low queue times, people were playing, people were having a good time. Really, really cool. And then, did you see this, Brad, or you saw hiatus? Marvel Snap
What?
China has
Oh,
draft.
yeah, I see. I
Okay,
see. I made a tweet about that. I
you
said,
did. Okay,
if it feels like the Western countries, um, for the Snap servers have been treated as a beta for the superior Chinese market. Um,
what a tweet!
and
What a
that's what
tweet!
I said verbatim. And
Yep.
I don't even say superior in like a sarcastic or petty thing. It is um undeniably superior in every way, shape, or form. That's why whenever you see like blockbusters, like movies, people are like, "Oh, this movie's flopping so hard," and it's like everyone's like, wait
Right.
until it releases in China. Let's
Until it
see.
releases in China, and then
They'll
Jurassic
make
World
their
will
money
make
back.
so much money that they're going to reboot it with
Correct.
Scarlett Johansson. And do you have, segue, any favorite cards out of the interim before we go to new favorite ways to get cards?
Yes. So
We
one of the
doing
things
top
that
three?
top three, yeah, we can do top three.
Okay.
I'll start with the one that got me technically like one of the first cards I got coming back. So as we are part of the creative program, and I still am somehow, uh, which I mean, it's fine now because I'm making content again for it. But I'm surprised I didn't get kicked out in that like 5 month span of
Yeah.
not really playing.
You built up
Um,
a lot of goodwill, man. You've been here a long time.
yeah, I guess they did reach out to me too. They said, "Hey, we saw you're making Pokemon content. Are you coming back to Snap anytime soon? Just want to check in as
Wow.
far as your whatever." And I said,
That's
"No, I plan
that's
on coming
interesting.
back." Yeah. Um. Anyway, first card that I got was the Anti Venom bundle because we
Ah.
get gold from the creator program and I had gold sitting there and I never opened anti-venom. And that was the card I was super interested in because I think the effect's really cool. And it's a really fun thing to do. So that's probably my number 3 is that card because I played a lot of anti-venom when I first got that card because it just worked in the 2 decks I was playing the most, which was a Spectrum ongoing list
Yep.
with what I'll say is my number 2 card in a moment,
Ooh.
and then an affliction list
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
with which is my favorite archetype. I guess I'll have to put that at number 1 when we get there, but
Is how
it's
Affliction
weird.
got like fleshed out very recently here.
I Man Thing is still to this day my favorite card in the game. If there is a single Vanguard in Rivals I'm begging for, it's Man Thing. Give me Man Thing as a
Okay.
playable Vanguard.
Okay.
So
All
what about
right.
you? What's your
So
number 3?
my number 3. Interesting. Interesting. I am going to go with Silver Sable as a bounce connoisseur. It's an evergreen. Silver
Mhm.
Sable is like, feels amazing to be able to work into that archetype. She was overtuned on release and just became like the
Yep.
best one drop for a while, and now she's at a very healthy spot. But for those decks that are able to make multiple uses of her,
Mhm.
feels really, really fun, especially with the new Joaquin Torres. I'm not going to put Joaquin Torres higher on the list here, so just that conjunction
No.
of like, hey, double tapping off of Silver Sable in the mid game feels super, super good. And I've loved using this card.
Nice. Um, I would say number 2 for me is Moonstone.
Nice.
I love Moonstone. She is so much fun, such a simple design, but one that just feels like how have we not had this type of card in the game sooner, right?
Yeah.
It just works so nicely, and it's been really fun in the Spectrum list I've been playing. which has obviously Mr. Fantastic, Mystique, Captain America, like Ant-Man, and then just being able to like have a lane with Mr. Fantastic and then go Iron Man somewhere else and then Mystique into that Fantastic lane with the Moonstone on
Yeah.
top of them.
Yeah.
Or even like Captain America. Like you can get 30 plus power in that lane without an Iron Man, just from like Moonstone, Captain America type stuff. Um,
Ant-Man.
yeah, that too.
Yeah.
It's just such a fun card. And then on top of that, another deck I've been playing since the crazy nerfs to what's it called? Hela?
What?
Cerebro 6.
No.
It is
No, don't do this, Brad.
so much fun.
No,
It is
please
so much
don't.
fun because Swordmaster's a 3/6, Hellcow's a 4/6, Malekith's a 4/6, Moonstone's a 4/6, Hell is a 6/6. You got a 2/6 Lizard, 2/6 Black Cat, 2/6 Maximus.
I mean, technically, yes, these are all true things, but don't do this.
It's so much fun. It's such a fun deck.
I could only
Um,
imagine other people that are like, they're just starting their game. They're at rank like 15. They're like, I get to play real people now. And Brad hits them with the Cerebro 6. Don't do it. You're going to make other people try and build this deck now. That's hilarious. Have you done the Moonstone Renslayer yet?
Oh, like to get the extra like discount? Yeah. Because
Because I
Renslayer's
feel like
in
that's
in
what
that
I
deck as
see
well.
at like top of Infinite. At least like last week, I saw a lot of
Mhm.
Moonstone Renslayer. It's really oppressive what they're able to do if you don't have Mobius M. Mobius.
What a clutch card, by the way, Mobius is.
Yeah, he came back around for me in a huge, huge way. I'm gonna go my number 2. Trying to pick what's going to be 2 and what is going to be number 1. Probably going to have to give number 2 over to Falcap. This card,
Yeah.
it's partially because it's been so busted off of release. It's like really, really powerful, but it's played into a number of decks that I've built that I feel like are a little bit unique from the meta, using
Yeah.
like the benefit of the shield to get a discount on Mockingbird. And then I was also playing this Agamotto, Falcap, Sasquatch, Mysterio deck. That was
Mhm.
incredible because you could get all of these created cards down, and you could either do a big discount on Mockingbird or a big discount on Squatchy. And then you play them, you can images them, so you get a lane of like 30 power with that. And then images is also amazing with the shield and with the Mysterio illusions and stuff. So it was
Yeah.
super, super fun. Even without being able to throw Cole down for quote unquote free with the shield. And I also I think Falcap should get nerfed again. Maybe unpopular opinion, but just the idea that, hey, he also works with original Cap. I think that the design is really cool, even if they need to still tune it a little bit more.
Right. No, I kind of agree. It's a good card. It's just it's left a sour taste in my mouth because of the Sanctum event.
Yeah.
Every single time you launched the game, you saw that shield sitting across from you. Every
Yes.
single time. And then it's like, oh, here comes, the turn 1 Rocket or the turn 2 Star-Lord. You just know what deck you're going against. And
And it's like, oh, look, they made it 2/5 by that's already above other 2 costs, and they
Yep.
got it for free, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just the you just got to curve out nicely with it kind of thing. Sometimes it's a dead card in hand because you have better things to do on occasion. Like I think oftentimes I would rather play Iron Patriot on 2 than Captain. But now with Iron Patriot being nerfed, maybe
Yeah.
that's not the case.
Yeah, those two, and especially having like similar color schemes, was the
Yeah.
1-2 punch. I would actually go Falcap first and then buff him and play Iron Patriot onto that because you had a stack of power.
That's
But
fair.
I mean, you could go either way, and both of them were so so incredible, and honestly, even incredible when they weren't getting played on curve. That
Yep.
really cool. And so I think that Iron Patriot is also like a very cool design. The developers even called it out. Like having cards that make players care about the outcome of locations prior to the end of the game makes the game way more dynamic and interesting,
Yep,
and your
I
deck
agree.
building considerations more interesting. Because like, hey, I can build a Hela deck that is going to blow up the board at the very end, but if then I'm sacrificing winning locations for all the other turns, if the opponent has cards that make that matter, maybe I need to do something a little bit different.
Yeah, that's why things like what's it called? Oh my God, Asgard as a location,
Yep.
Murder World as a location.
Yep.
These are all like, or the one that buffs everything on turn 5 +2. Like these are all, or
Or like
even
Madripoor. Madripoor is one of my favorite locations.
which one was that?
The one that gives +2 to the cards of the highest cost every
Yes.
turn.
Okay. Yes. 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 Yes.
Love that one.
Yeah. So like, whenever those kind of locations pop up, it makes the games more fun to try and
It
like
makes
leverage certain things.
it makes me sad that Storm is a 4 cost now.
Yeah, I think
Like
she can go back to 3.
the thing is that the Storm Legion thing is still possible. Or the Storm War Machine Legion. Like if that came back, that would be super annoying. If they could find a way to
Sure.
break that combo up but keep Storm at 3, I would love that.
Or like maybe you hmm, maybe you just change Legion to like Galactus type of effect where it does the same thing, but it only changes the location if you're winning.
Ah, sure, sure. Yeah, there could be an interesting trigger there. Or there could, I mean, you could
Or
like
make
brute
Legion a 6
force it
cost.
and make a flooded location not copyable or
Right.
something. I don't know.
I
I
don't
don't know.
mind it as much, but I also like Lockdown, and I'm the asshole that likes to play that deck. So, um,
All
now
right.
you
What about your number
mentioned
1 card? What's the other deck you love to play here?
you were well. Okay, so my honorable mention, my favorite deck is always Affliction, and I like
Yeah.
Diamondback, and I like Laufey. That how is his name pronounced? By the way, it's Laufey. How is that pronounced?
I say Laufey, but I could be
Laufey.
wrong. I think Laufey
Um,
is overtuned. he's out. He's a card
oh
and a
no, for
half.
for sure, for
He's
sure.
amazing.
But I also think that Man Thing is overtuned and has always been overtuned even before his buff. But because
Yeah.
it's an affliction style thing that can be negated by a single card in Luke Cage,
Yeah.
that's why I think it's okay. It's like the context matters.
Right.
Now, that being said, they are not two of my favorite cards released on the season or the last few seasons because as much as I love them, they are no Man Thing. They are no U.S. agent as far as like that, that little bit in my brain that gets really happy. You know what makes me really happy though?
What
I'm
makes you
gonna
really happy,
cheat.
Brad?
I'm gonna cheat and say Isan and Agamotto are easily two of my favorite cards that have ever been released in the entire game. And I'm gonna let me get in my
Tie for number
soapbox real
1, or are you
quick.
saying playing them together?
Both.
Okay.
Because like, of course, you play them together and tied for number 1. I would give the edge to Agamotto a little bit, but you got to play Isan with him. Now, let me get in my soapbox real quick. Let me teach everyone something. Everyone begging for a Winds of Watum nerf is incredibly incorrect. They're all incorrect. All of you that are begging for this nerf. Because the card is a 2/5.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It is a 2/5, which
That moves, to be fair, but
sure.
yeah.
But I don't think okay, let me tell you this. If it was a creature that was a
Yes.
2/3, give something -2 and move it, do you think that'd be busted?
It would get played in the Scream deck, but it wouldn't necessarily be busted on its own. Now, does it?
Right.
I think, to add a little more nuance here, part of what's so good about these cards is that they banish.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that because you can play them with like Hope and get more energy, but keep board spaces open. You're not giving your opponent anything to interact with. They're
Sure.
not taking up board space, so you can play really space hungry but cost efficient cards behind them to kind of make up for, or not make up for, but take advantage of the fact that they will give you more board space.
Sure. But that's also it's a double-edged sword, right? Because the
Yes,
fact
no,
that
it
they
definitely
banish
is.
and go away is the downside to them in a lot of cases. Because sometimes you just top deck them at the wrong time. I can't tell you how many games I've top decked at the end of the game bolts, and I'm like, well, this is useless.
Yes, yes.
Like this is the most useless card. And sometimes with playing with Isan in particular, sometimes I don't want to ramp into Isan because the only card that's eligible to get hit is images in hand, and I have then I would just hit images on a single Isan that does nothing. It's a waste of a card.
Right.
So there is some nuance to them. I think the card is fine. I think Agamotto is fine. I think Wins is fine. I could see them going down to a -4 and say it's a 2/4, but honestly, like, or they can just like get rid of the move and just say afflict it for -5 would also be fine. But like again, the same thing I was talking about with like, Man Thing and other affliction cards, a single card gets rid of the biggest downside, which is that -5 affliction. In Luke
Yeah.
Cage,
No,
right?
I don't think the spells need a nerf, especially because like you're also paying for inconsistency in the deck because you have a larger
Yeah.
deck size, so you're not hitting other combos as consistently. You're just trying to play different stuff, and you have to have kind of more variety and connections in your deck building. If anything, I could see maybe Agamotto's power going down, like on his base.
I don't know. 510 is kind of whatever.
Well, 513, but if it came down to like a 512,
If you get, I discovered after a couple days in the first within into the first week of playing Agamotto that temporal brings it back from being destroyed.
or discarded, baby.
Yeah, which is really cool.
Really cool. Can
Um,
we play a Black
oh,
Bolt Aggie deck?
maybe. Oh, it also
Discard, make
comes
a
back
4/10.
if you Loki on one. So if you
Yep.
Loki on one and your Agamotto was in the deck and you temporal, you just spawn an Agamotto,
Right. Because he
which
started
is
in your
really
deck
fun.
and then he just like, yeah. That's what it's a
He's
magic
gone.
spell. It just
Yeah,
works.
it's really sick. Now for Isan, um, some of my favorite cards of all time in the game are the Shield cards. Generating random cards. Valentina I was really hyped on when she first got announced. Yes, Erisham is a thing as well, but I actually think Erisham is one of the less interesting and less powerful homes for Isan because of the randomness of what you get with Erisham, and sometimes he just pulls down bad cards. To give you an example, anytime I get Triskelion or whatever with Isan, I'm incredibly sad because it pulls down some of the worst cards in the game on average.
Yeah.
Um, I'd rather be able to have a fixed idea of what it's pulling down. Valentina pulling down 6 costs on average are going to be more powerful unless it's an Ultron, and then I'm incredibly sad. Um, or a obviously Nick Fury, same thing, 4 costs. Or I'm sorry, a 6 costs, and then 3 and 4 costs specifically. No, I'm sorry, 4 and 5 costs for what's it called? Coulson are also some of the most powerful cards in the game. So I don't want the random 1 or 2 costs or even 3 costs getting pulled down. I don't. I want the top end stuff. That's why I like him more with actual shield cards. And of
Yeah.
course, our boy Agamotto pulling down what's it called? Any of the spells and images to kind of change the bad potential 1 drop cards or whatever, 2 drop cards into a bunch of Esons at the
Yeah.
worst.
No, exactly. And what I love about Isan is he has a 10 power, so like he has counterplay with it just Shang, knocking him over.
Yeah.
If the opponent's kind of ramped into him to try and brute force that lane, you can counter. But then because
Yep.
it's at the end of the turn, he at least has a chance of getting one thing, so he gets to do his thing even if he gets shut down kind of early. So Isan is super cool. I actually do like him in RSM because of the free ramp and then just like free fodder that he can pull. But yeah,
Mhm.
if you have more of that curated Agents of Shield Iron Patriot Quinjet combo, that's also really cool.
I've been playing him mostly in I call it a Nissan Sentra deck. Um, but it's just ramp. It's got Electro, Wave, Blink, and then
Uh,
you have Isan Hulk, Red Hulk, Magneto as your top end stuff. And it's got like
okay.
Nico, Valentina, Iron Patriot, like just some decent card generation. I have Psylocke on there at the moment. I would be running Luna if I had her
Okay.
over
Okay.
Psylocke, I think.
Are you trying like any White Queen? Take the opponent's best card and then play it for free?
No, but I can tell you that I've revisited my beloved archetype Infomaniac after her change to see what we can cook up there. And yeah, I think especially with that Adam Warlock going back to being a 2-0, I got to go back to the turn 1 Hawkeye, turn 2 Adam Warlock play
Yep.
that I really loved.
Oh yeah.
I can play Watu now. And then I have a tiny mill package of Yondu, Baron Zemo Cable in there, and then I have Black Bolt Stature, Kang, Cold Obsidian, and then White Queen. Oh, and Spider Ham as well. So
Eh, okay.
I've liked it. I've liked the list. Now could I do like Isan in this? Probably. I'd have to like change the deck up though. But for now, I think this is really nice. Side note, as I'm looking at, because I have Snap open right now, I'm looking at the list.
Yep.
Um, one of my favorite looking cards, but also worst investments is I have a pink cosmic border on Kang. So for all of a second
That's
and a
it.
half, you get to
Yep.
enjoy how he looks.
Amazing. I put my one of one 4099 border on the Gamora variant. That's her in the purple color scheme in the Spacescape
Yeah.
background, and that's probably my favorite like looking card
Ooh,
at the moment.
what did I put mine on? I'm blanking. I put it on something. I'm just forgetting what I put it on. You do your number one while I look for what I put my 2099 border on.
Yep. My number one is Toxin. More bounce tools in the toolbox, which is the archetype that is my evergreen. This guy's been amazing, especially because he gives you that core like base in the combo to be able to run like bounce back the bounce tools. You can use Beast to pick him up and then keep running the combo. You can use him to pick up Falcon and keep running the combo. He can work in move
Mhm.
or in kind of the straight power generating bounce package, and it's been so good. It's a deck that has maintained a really good power level through kind of core cards, through a lot of meta changes. Except for when Firehair was big with all the Killmongers. As long as that's not happening, you can play
Sure.
bounce and be pretty happy.
No,
Did
yeah,
you
that
find
makes
your
sense. Absolutely not. I cannot find it. I don't know what I put it on
all
because
right for next episode?
it's not in my thing to like put it on something. So I put it on something.
We should do a segment where maybe we bring up like the prettiest card. We could even take listener entries and then pull it up, do a little cosmetic shout out.
Oh, I have I have cosmic borders on almost all my cards.
Voice.
I'm obsessed.
Yeah, no, I collected a
did
ton
I
of
do?
those with the Sanctum Showdown. So I picked up I have a full bounce deck, a full zoo deck, and a
Oh,
full Sanctum deck with
okay,
all
I found it.
cosmics. You found it?
I found it.
All
Yeah.
right, hit us.
I put it on. So I specifically the classic variant of Agatha.
Agatha?
Yeah, the classic variant of Agatha. So like it looks actually with a frosted glass background. So like the pink really stands out from like the rings around her hand,
Okay.
and then it like the rings around her hand like go right over. Scroll down a bit. No, the classic one. Go down the
Oh,
variants.
it's not the base art, it's this one.
Yeah, the one that's literally called the classic variant. Yeah, that
Okay.
one.
Nice.
That's what I put it on.
Nice.
I like it. I think it's cool, and also like I think it's kind of funny because she's old.
Uh-huh.
So
She'd still be alive in 4099.
yeah, yeah, basically. You put
Mine's
it
on this one.
That's good. That's a good one. I seen. You have to put it on a pink card. It's like, what else are you putting it on? The
Yep.
best one I've seen. I don't own it, but it's the Japanese variant of Ghost Spider. Is the
Oh
best
yeah,
person
that
to
one
get on.
is really good. There's also the the Spider-Man variant that's like him as Ronin.
Yeah.
That's really good. It's like not pink, but it works.
It was.
Is it the one with her eating noodles?
It's that one right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's great.
Yeah. Phenomenal for the variant.
I am curious if we're gonna get more into a series, or if that's gonna be like if they're gonna release these as one of ones. Because we also had like the wrapping paper one for holidays as a one of one. So yeah, I think it's kind of cool either way. But I do like getting full decks built out.
Last thing I want to mention before we move on to the new card acquisition model.
Yeah.
And I just say the update that they came out with for cards generating other cards like Shield Agents, Erisham, Loki, and stuff like that,
Oh yeah.
getting the same variant style as the variant you have equipped to, that is such a cool quality of life change.
Yes.
I unlocked the Dan Hip Erisham, and it is so cool getting all the Dan Hips. And also it's really funny because Dan Hip has so many cards in the game. So when you get a card that doesn't have his variant, you're like, really? That one doesn't have a Dan Hip variant? That's
you're
crazy.
Sleeping on the job. Do you just not like him?
Or
what happened? Yeah.
Yeah, or the Venomized Loki is really cool. The Noir agents for Shield are super awesome to do because I love the Noir arts. Albeit there's not as many of them, but still, yeah, that's such a cool change, and I got to give Second Dinner insane props for that. Because I could imagine that's a little bit of an annoyance to program. It sounds simple, but I guarantee you it's annoying to make sure it gets done right.
Yeah, I've got the Pandart Iron Patriot, and then I have the Art Germ Loki that are 2 gems of my collection. And then also like everything they generate is beautiful.
I still love that Venomized Loki. It's my favorite.
Oh yeah. Like the Loki ones, because they hit such a broad number, you get to see a lot of really cool variants.
Is there a variant you'll never change? Like no matter what they come out with?
Oh, this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's the Christmas Rock Slide. Where he's holding up the scissors and the paper. No, he got scissors and paper as his gift.
Yeah.
And he gives the opponent coal instead.
Yes, you get the variant rock.
Yeah.
Pretty great stuff. All right. Also, what could be pretty great is a new way to get cards. Second Dinner has hit us with their 3rd revision on card acquisition that is now going to be called Snap Packs. So gone will be Spotlight Caches. You will not have a way to acquire there. Instead, the token shop is getting a complete revamp, and the entire economy is getting a revamp, so that rather than generating keys, you'll be generating an a much higher amount of tokens to be able to then spend as you see fit for different series packs. And we've gotten some breakdown and some numbers, but we don't have any actual prices of the packs yet. So there's still a lot of speculation on what the full implementation is going to look like. We do have a graphic supplied by Second Dinner that we can roll through. Brad, how fed up were you with Spotlight Caches?
I was
on a scale of release Loki to Baron Mordo? Where are we falling on how fed up were you with?
God, that Baron Mordo's a great cut there. I would say
you did quit the game, so
yeah. I would say release Zabu.
I was wondering if you're going to go release Spider-Man or release Zabu, but that's a good one.
No, I liked playing release Spider-Man.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. Yeah, like the current system of taking your keys into random variants that you don't care about instead of the new card. Just feels like such a hit. And like every time you crack one open, you dread... You're dreading what it opens instead of looking forward to what's going to pop out. And like that core experience, they need to turn around. Because it becomes so unpredictable, and you have to stockpile so aggressively because you're like, hey, I have 2 cards I want next season. I have to hold 8 keys. and then I can't take these like chances at other stuff that I'm potentially interested in, so I can make sure I actually get what I want to play with.
Yeah. And even when you would actually like get like this is my issue with the keys primarily.
Yep.
Even when you high roll and you got the one tap and you instantly got the card you wanted with using one key, I never felt like that dopamine hit of like, "Oh, let's go." I
Right.
got I got that feeling of, "Yeah, that's how it should be." Like
Uh-huh. Yeah, like
that's how I
finally
felt.
finally I got it or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
And
should
so
just
then
be able to
the
use this key to get the card.
yes, that should have been how it worked. The other huge problem of the Spotlight caches is, and they've got an animation here, is if you chose to pass on something and then maybe the developers tweaked the numbers or another supporting card emerged to be able to make the
Yeah.
deck viable, you would have to either pay 6,000 tokens, also waiting on a rotating shop to even find it to get the privilege of paying,
Yep.
or wait a completely indeterminate time until the developers saw fit to release a Spotlight variant for the card in a future cache that could take up to months in advance. So if your main way of getting new cards was the keys instead of tokens, and I mean, US Agent was a huge criminal here, right? Released dead, got buffed out of his mind right as soon as he was out of the
Yeah,
cache.
if it wasn't for my um love for Affliction as an archetype in this game, I would not have got him. And
Yeah,
I got him because I was like, the deck needs a good 2 cost that isn't Scorpion, and sometimes you need to play it down, or just you can fill it in, or just hold it to like the end game, that kind of thing, and maybe he'll be okay. And then when he got buffed, I was like, oh, sick. Like it was
right.
just a nice little happy circumstance. But for
I was
everyone
playing him
else,
anyway.
it was yeah. I thought he was actually kind of same thing with like Man Thing. I thought they were kind of like underrated. Um, and sometimes whenever they make buffs or changes to cards, it makes me kind of wonder in the back of my mind. I'm like, is this a skill issue for everyone else that kind of sucks with using these cards?
Oh, Brad putting everybody on. No, not you listeners, dear listeners. You guys have the right idea all the time, but Brad just thinks that everybody else playing Snap is below his IQ. The
Hey, that's what
other,
happens when you play TCGs. You're the smartest person in the room at all times.
it does cater to that perception for sure.
Yeah.
So, what we're going to be presented in the token shop is a plethora of new packs. So, whether you're someone who is looking to keep their collection complete or someone who is looking to catch up, you will have different price points, and older slash lower series cards will be much cheaper than before. I think they've still said that even like, actually, they haven't. They haven't said that staying series complete will be cheaper. That could stay
Right.
the same price. But if you want to, if you have any holes in your collection, you will be able to fill that more easily, faster, and cheaper than before. So you'll have a Series 5 pack. This is going to be all the Series 5 cards from the current season and the previous season, so the latest 8. They're very rarely releasing Series 4 cards, but they're leaving the door open because there's also going to be the Series 4 pack, including all Series 4 cards from the current season and the previous
And that would
2
include
seasons.
series drops as well, to be
Yes.
fair. That being
True,
said,
true.
it's I'm hoping they come back to releasing stuff into series 4, like especially if they're saying, like if you look above, they do have somewhere listed that there's going to be more cards per season now that they plan on releasing. Now if
Yep.
that means that it is just straight up releases, like the traditional form of like spotlights kind of thing, or if they're
Right, like is it
including
going to
like
be a double
special
drop
events.
on some weeks, or is it going to be with the
Right.
special limited time game modes? Because right now we are getting more than a card a week because we get the Battle Pass card and a card on the first week, and then we also get at least one card on a limited time game mode release.
Yeah.
And then on the Sanctum Showdown, we got 3. So Second Dinner has ideas for a ton of stuff, clearly. They're just trying to get it
Yeah.
out in a reasonable way.
One thing is when like doing a quick overview for these packs, they're saying that the token shop's getting a massive upgrade, becoming dedicated card shop where you'll find snap packs, which is what we're seeing on screen right now,
Yep.
which is going to be both the series 4 and 5 and 3 ones. But the only ones that are the standard, which are including the newer releases, are the standard 4 and 5 packs. Then there are the collector's packs for 3, 4, and 5 that The difference being is what they don't include the newest 2 seasons.
Right.
So you have a chance to go get stuff you missed on. That way, if you're trying to target new stuff with like tokens, for example, because we're assuming if the token prices are staying the same, 3,000 for a 4, 6,000 for a 5, we have to assume that these packs are less than a direct price of a card. Would that be fair?
Yeah, they have said, at least because we're pulling posts from all over the place, guys. They had what they said in the developer update. They had a post on their own site. They had some stuff for us creators in the Discord, and then there've been other people releasing information. But they have promised that the old cards, the collector series packs, are significantly cheaper. Significantly doesn't mean anything when you don't have a number behind it. But yeah, the ketchup packs from your local Whataburger are delicious, and the ketchup packs here are cheap.
Yeah, so you're getting a guarantee of an unknown card, no duplicates in any of these packs, which is nice.
Yep.
Spotlight cards and rotating pinnable cards are going to be the same in the shop as normal. You still get your free daily tokens. Actually, no, you're going to get free daily tokens now. It's just for a login. Now, let me ask you this.
Right.
What amount should the free daily tokens be? Because I think it should be 200 a day, which means once a month you get a free card.
So it all depends on what the prices actually are, because instead of opening Spotlight keys, you get 3,000. So you get a free-to-play player gets 3,000 every week off of that, and then you get the weekend missions. That's a little bit more, and then you get some
that's
random
the same
caches.
At 200. That's what they said.
Right. Okay. Yeah. If they're not going to tweak those other elements of the economy, the other like mission rewards, then I assume that prices will stay relatively similar. You do maybe have to factor in that there are the Snap Pack bonus rewards where you have additional cards, variants, cosmetics, currencies. So every time you open a pack, you're getting 2 chosen from these other things, which they might use to inflate the price, because you're not just getting the card, you're also getting the quote-unquote bonus rewards.
Sure. I hope the packs are less than what a single card is, because that should be the caveat. It's like if you want that card directly, the single, like just like in real life, if I go buy, if I want to get a $50 card, I can take the chance of buying the cheaper pack, right, and pulling it, or I can just go spend the $50. In this case, it'd be: do you spend the $6,000?
You're saying like in Magic, I can buy it from the counter for this, or I can open packs.
Correct.
And the packs are way cheaper than the $50 card. I just might have to open $100 of them if I'm unlucky.
Yeah.
Which is what happens in Magic. In this, you're guaranteed the unopened cards. So, I don't know.
Sure.
With the bonus rewards, it might be a very similar price. I wouldn't be too surprised if a new Series 5 pack is also 6K. Which might be a bit of a letdown, but I wouldn't be too surprised.
I hope it's less. I would like it to be like 5K.
Yeah.
Do like 5K.
I guess it also
and
depends on like
2K.
Like we don't have, they're going to say odds will vary, which means with the gambling laws, they have to tell us the odds, and then amounts. We'll get a full loot table of these additional rewards. If there's like, several thousand credits or premium variants or even like a chunk of tokens in like a rebate as a chance, like then I could get it being just as expensive. But if these are like really just the little like boosters is in here. No. They put boosters in here, Brad.
I can't wait to have both my 2 rewards be like 50 boosters for Quinjet.
Boosters of another card that you don't care about. Oh, yeah.
I have over 1,000 boosters for Quinjet, dude. I'm so sick of it.
I love it.
Every time.
I wish that you could.
Yeah.
Can we get one more update to Mastery where you get to grind up enormous amounts of boosters for Mastery progress? That would be cool.
Or better yet, can you make it so that when I actually upgrade a card in Mastery, that has a higher meaning behind my Mastery than just getting a variant? Because I love it when I have a card that I don't have a variant for, and I get a random variant for that card in like a Spotlight, or not Spotlight, but a regular collector cache.
Yes.
In the track, and then suddenly I go from level 1 to level 7. But
Right.
if I upgraded that card 5 times individually, all the way to infinite, I wouldn't be at level 7.
No, because also the track gets harder to progress the higher up you go. So you can upgrade to infinite to unlock a couple mastery levels, like at the very base of the track. But yeah, trying to get up to like 10 for refraction is one I see a lot of people going for. That gets pretty expensive if you're upgrading all the way. You need some good variants to kind of
Do you have any
boost you.
level 30s mastery yet?
No 30s. I capped out at like a 25. My Thor and my Deadpool are the glimmering examples. I actually have Fire Thor, which is so fun.
My highest one, I can actually sort by mastery, right? I can. Look at that. My highest is Spider-Man at level 28 because I have so many Spider-Man variants.
Let's go.
And then it's Iron Man, Thor, Deadpool, Miles Morales, Spider-Man, Carnage, Iceman, Darkhawk. Those are all pretty high as well. But yeah, mastery could use some tuning, just like what they're doing with the acquisition here.
Exactly. It seems like Second Dinner, I mean, they've shown that they're ready to change anything in the game, especially if they're going to change spotlight catches, which have been so entrenched. And I do think that this is absolutely moving in the right order. So yeah, new series packs will be cheaper than. Oh, here it is. They said it outright. New featured packs, new series packs. So this is what we were talking about, getting an unowned Series 5. The pack will be cheaper than buying the featured spotlight.
Oh, sick.
And so if we assume that the spotlight price will stay the same, your Series
Which I
5, your
believe
red
they've
pack,
said
is
so.
going to be less than 6K.
Okay. Cool.
And then
I like
the
how that's
collector's
in that,
series.
but it's not in the website that they get the blog post.
Yeah.
Amazing.
The collector's series 3, 4, and 5 will be priced at a significant discount compared to buying the cards individually. And if you own all the current and previous season cards in a new series pack, then the featured spotlight is a guaranteed pull. So that's going to be the newest.
So if you are collection complete and you get a random pack, which will be less than what the featured spotlight card is,
Yes.
then you can get the newest card to maintain collection complete at a discount, essentially.
Okay, so yes, it is. That means that they are saying it outright. Like staying collection complete will be cheaper than before.
Cool.
And they have a lot of cool ideas on expanding this. Is there anything else we want to hit out on this economy? So I'm very optimistic.
Just to reiterate,
Yep.
real quick, where it says Spotlight Key equals 3,000 tokens, that's two things. One,
Yes.
the Spotlight Keys you currently own as of right now, each one of those will be converted on either April 29th or June 3rd, depending on their testing internally. Those are the two dates that they're aiming for releasing this update.
Yes.
Those will either be converted to tokens, to 3,000 a pop. In addition to that, every time you go through your collection track, at those 120 levels per will no longer be a single spotlight key. It'll be 3,000 tokens as your reward.
Yes. I almost wish that they gave you still a cache that had 3,000 tokens guaranteed and then another random bonus, but whatever they want to do, I'm happy with this. Because so it is an interesting perspective, right? Of before, a spotlight key is a 75% chance at a new card if you don't own any of the cards. And then now getting 3,000 tokens is half of a new card. But then when you look at like the averages of how many keys you were spending to actually get the cards that you wanted, 3,000 tokens feels awesome.
Yeah, I agree. It feels much better than the tokens have felt for the last year.
Yep. And I think that this is showing that they're going to be shifting more monetization toward cosmetics instead of just the card acquisition hamster wheel, which I think is also great. It's going to be a healthier metagame because more people are potentially playing with the new cards on release, so they can balance it better. You'll have less of you'll still have the FOMO on the Battle Pass exclusive card, but you only have to wait one season for that to be purchasable out of the series pack. And they've shown, especially with Falcap, that they're going to nerf those cards very slowly. So even if you wait a season and get it, he's still going to be good if he was good before. So I think Agamotto is still going to be good next season. Is Agamotto going to be potentially the first one purchasable with this? I think so. I guess it depends on the patch timing. But that does leave me in a very optimistic spot. If you're going to be able to target cards more easily, you're going to be able to expand your collection more easily.
Yep.
And then, yeah, hopefully have more space just to see more cool cosmetics come in as like their monetization stream. Because as a mobile game, the monetization stream has to still stay high.
Yeah. And of course, you can purchase tokens with gold still. That's going to stay the same as it was already. But now I think they're going to, instead of it just being like, oh, you click on a card in the spotlight thing that you don't have enough tokens for. And it's like, would you like to buy token or buy gold to, get the rest of these tokens? It sounds like there's going to actually be a dedicated spot to where you just can convert gold to tokens without the weird
Yes.
little, here's how you get this card.
Right. Or I think it's going to be like Token Tuesdays is going to be available all the time. Is the the way I'm
Yes.
reading this. It
That
might
that
be a
makes
different
sense.
ratio, but
Well,
so
the
Token
ratio right now
Tuesday,
is crazy. Like a
yeah.
Series 6 card is roughly almost 8,000 gold. It's about 7920 something, I believe. Last time I did the
Yeah, yeah.
math, which is, that's $100 per Series 5 card. So
It's insane. So yeah, the Token Tuesday bundle still might stay like a weekly really good deal, but then there will always be something purchasable there.
now
And I think as
the
we
snap
saw,
packs
yes, I
with
was going to
the
bring up
custom ones.
the Khonshu cash people loved because it was Scorn, it was Glaive, and it was Khonshu. So it was all discard archetype. And
Yep.
plenty of people went all in on that cash, even if they didn't care about Khonshu, because they wanted to play like Bullseye Scorn, or they wanted Scorn in their deck, they wanted Corvus Glaive in their deck. So
Yep.
the developers have heard us and are potentially going to be releasing other caches, or what are they, packs? Collector packs that will be archetype centric.
Yeah, and they have other ideas too. So you can see there, these are some examples that they're thinking of. Archetypes being like what kind of decks, teams being like, oh, you can get these are all members of the Avengers or these are members of like X-Men or things like that, or
Right.
Young Avengers, stuff like that.
Yep.
Or like the future, the Fantastic Future Foundation would be a cool one. And then you can see there in the bottom is content creators. So there could be like deck submissions via content creators. You can see Hoogland there, KM Best, and then Snap Judgments. Yeah, you could have like submitted decks from those creators. That could be here's a pack. One thing I think would be really cool would be imagine they do full decks.
Yes, because that way you
So,
get like, it's a competitive meta deck. You
Yep.
own part of the cards, but you have to run like 3 substitutions, and that kills the heart of the deck, so you don't feel like you can play it. Well, now potentially you could just fill in what you were missing, and that would feel so
right
good.
now, Magic Arena has this. I've been getting back
Oh,
into
they do?
Magic again.
Nice.
So if you go in Arena and you go into bundles, they have what are called like champion decks, and they have sometimes for Brawl. And right now the one in the shop are standard decks, and it's gems, which is like the equivalent of like gold and Snap. It's the in-game currency that you can purchase with real money. And they have duplicate discount over them, so it'll show like the full price of the deck is like like 10,000 gems, right?
Right.
But then my price is 6,000 gems because they're discounting the deck based on what cards in the collection of that deck list I already own.
Nice.
So you could do the same thing similarly with Snap. You could have
Yes.
here's a deck of 12 cards. You own 4 of them, so we discount the deck according by X amount for tokens to make up the difference. So you're not paying full price for cards you already have. They
Well,
could
I
do something
think,
like that.
yeah, you could do something like that, but it seems like their implementation here is your series pack holds these 12 cards. You will not open
Right.
duplicates.
No. I know. I'm saying it'd be cool if they also could down the road also introduce just a flat out you can pay this X amount of tokens and just get all of them to finish the deck at once. Instead of just like I have to spend like, X amount to get 7 packs to kind of like fast track the process. That might just be in my opinion, a small little quality of life thing down the road because it's
Yeah.
essentially potentially the same thing as just buying the packs overall. Or maybe they give a discount for doing it in one lump sum. Who knows?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of potential here for how they can keep on like improving the system. We'll have to see what the base numbers of all of this actually are first, but again, I'm very optimistic, and yeah, we'll be looking to return to some weekly or at least more regular episodes. We'll definitely be covering this once we get more information.
Yeah. We could probably aim to what day were we releasing prior? It was like what, Wednesday or Tuesday kind of thing every week?
Yeah, I think we had a midweek drop before.
So today's Sunday. If we are able to like record on Sundays, no, you usually can't do Sundays. So I guess Saturdays maybe, and then aim for like a Monday release kind of thing. We'll figure it
Yeah.
out and we'll go from there.
Exactly. We'll get the momentum going. Both of us are still enjoying the game and doing the show, so we'll be back at you guys with more episodes.
Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you next week.
We gotta do the full sign off. Till next time, guys. Don't stop snapping.
Yeah.
Can't Stop Snapping is a podcast hosted and produced by Brad Safert and Teddy Ninja, originally created by Michael Thurman.